Was ist los? It's your German boy here, and welcome back to If My Heart Had Wings. Last episode was a freaking adorable one. If you were there, you know I'm not gonna spoil anything. Just go watch it, you'll understand. So just without any further procrastination, let's just go ahead and jump right into this. A day of summer vacation. It's been a while since we went to school. Today is registration day. For the first time in 2 weeks, everyone in the classroom catching up on the latest news.
みなせ、お前、ハバネさんと付き合ってるけん、本当か?
Well, it happened kinda suddenly. It started with small talk, you know, it's been a while. How you been doing?
それはお前が質問に答えてからだ。
Jesus.
くしょー！俺もこっそり狙ってたのに！
That's too bad. So, where'd you get your intel?
上司があっちで噂してたぞ。
Meanwhile, on the other side of the classroom.
みなせ君と付き合い始めたの？やっぱり仲良かったもんね。いやー、あの告白は伝説に残るわ。録音してなかったのがもったいないぐらい。どんな告白だったの？それがね、空の上で。
Hey! What kind of rumors are you spreading?
何って、葵が作った伝説だよ。
Involuntarily created. Komm schon, Kotori, stop already.
いや、自慢したい気持ちも多少ありまして。お似合いだと思うよ。っていうか、まだ付き合ってなかったの？って感じよね。
The conversation continued without bad feelings. I'm embarrassed, okay? Bitte, just cut it out already.
でも、黙ってて、こそこそ噂されるよりいいんじゃない？
In our sophomore year, Kotori was very bad-mannered. Though the number of our mutual friends increased, there were still enough girls to hold a grudge. I've wanted to stop any strange rumors before they started. But there's no need to stop them while they speak of my legend, right?
そういやそうね。
I know it's only a simple amusement. Kotori, however, didn't seem all that amused since these things were much difficult for her to talk about.
ねえ、いつから付き合い始めたの？一緒の家に住んでるんでしょ？それってどうなの
？Kotori was overcome by questions. It's
ハバネさんはいるかしら？
The student council president came into our classroom. Guten Morgen, student council president.
おはようございます。みなせ葵くん。おはよう、生徒会長。何か私にご用かしら？ソアリング部の活動状況を聞いておこうと思って。あなたたち、学校内で活動していないでしょ？
Miss Kumoi gave us her approval and stood against the faculty on our behalf. The homeroom teacher seems to be with us as well.
新しい拠点が見つかったおかげで順調よ。機体の改良も済んで、先日テストフライトもしたし。
As Kotori mentioned test flight, girls in the back whispered things like, the place where legends are born. So it seems this will be as a joke for the time being.
そう、もうそこまで。さすが、やる気があるクラブは違うわね。あかりさんのおかげです。本当にありがとうございました。やる気があるクラブから活動の場を奪うなんておかしいと思っただけよ。今度、テストフライトを見に行ってもいいかしら？ぜひ来てちょうだい。生徒会長の判断が間違ってなかったって、あかり
Miss Kumoi smiled, seeing Kotori full of confidence.
え、楽しみにしてるわ。
Just because it's registration day, and all we're seeing all of the regular students doesn't mean that we're having class. What the fuck is that sentence? I swear to God. The homeroom teacher reminded us that we were on summer break and that we should leave. The students not belonging to a dorm couldn't leave. Ageha, after this, are you heading straight home?
うん、今日荷物が届くんだ。それ受け取らないと。
We, meaning the club, has a package coming in. My destination was our secret base.
生徒会長、あっと驚かせてやらないとね。
Kotori was in a great mood since Miss Kumoi promised she would come take a look sometime. How could you resist being prideful about a glider you helped to build? Without thinking about this, I go wait in front of the elevator. Ageha cried out against her will and quickly shut her mouth. From across the hallway, a heavy middle-aged teacher came lumbering down, and I think I know who this is.
Hmm?
Shice.
飛び岡。
Then Mr. Tobioka saw us, a sarcastic smile crossed his mouth.
ようお前たち。先生に会ったら挨拶くらいしたらどうだ。
チース、飛び岡先生。
When Ageha greeted the founder as a robot club, I lowered my head too. Only Kotori's expression said, "How could I greet you just like a dog would greet a burglar?"
お前ら、学校に許可なく校外活動をしているそうだな。
許可はもらっています。ちゃんと生徒会の承認は得ていますから。
生徒会？所詮は子供の集まりだ。勝手な真似は許さんぞ。
別に許してもらわなくて結構よ。
Oh boy. Kotori muttered to herself, however, loud enough for Mr. Tobioka to hear. Mr. Tobioka frowned with disapproval. If activities are off campus and unrelated to the school, what should any teacher care about it for? I finally snapped too. Mr. Tobioka, with his usual pout, glared at me.
倉庫から盗まれたグライダーの件がある。犯人が学校と無関係な活動にそれを使用しているなら処罰せねばな。
Hit where it hurt.
せいぜい問題を起こさないよう気をつけることだな。
With his parting threat, Mr. Tobioka continued lumbering down the hall.
ムカつく。なんなのよ、あいつ。まあまあ、揉めてもいいことないって。そうだけど。
If there are any enemies to be had, it would be that Fatsu.
せめて夏休みが終わるまでは穏便に行きましょう。そうね。モーニンググローリーを飛ぶっていう大目標を邪魔されたくないもんね。
As she spoke, Kotori settled down. Without repeatedly pounding the elevator button, I impatiently repeated, "Hurry up and come already." Finally, the elevator arrived. The door opened and the passengers left the elevator. We made space.
やあ、君たち。おはよう。
Amane?
びっくりした。なんでアマネちゃんが乗ってるの？お、ほん。違うぞ、君たち。私はアマネちゃんではなくて、望月先生だぞ。
She said with a prideful swagger.
去年までモラトリアムの延長戦やってたくせに。その望月先生が何をなさってるんですか？
Isn't she going to be a lecturer over the second semester?
打ち合わせというやつだ。いろいろ大変なんだ。何せ大人だ だからな。
she stated, with her nose in the air. As usual, the statement was to give the chance to boast.
そんなに大人になりたかったんなら、さっさと卒業しとけばよかったのに。おー、それ言っちゃうか。じゃあな、君たち。後で秘密基地に顔を出すよ。
Amane swaggered down the hall. The students who knew Amane made a face like, "What's that?" and saw her off.
あまねちゃんが学校にいるなんて不思議な感じ。いいなぁ。私も特別講義受けたい。
So shouldn't you just put your dream out there? The appearance of Amane suddenly cast away the anger and bad taste left from meeting Mr. Tobioka.
じゃあ、私は先に行くね。急がないと荷物来ちゃうから。
Alright, catch you later. Ageha hurriedly ran home. So, shall we take our time heading out then? I took Kotori's wheelchair, rose and gazed about. There seemed to be few students heading home, but there was still a strange life to the air. Being at school during the summer holiday always made shit feel special. While pushing Kotori's wheelchair, we made for home.
どう？シート合ってる？うん。私のお尻にジャストフィットしてる。
Kotori, sitting in the cockpit, said nervously. Kotori checked the seat designed for her. We're finally finished, is what I wanted to say, but...
まさか業者が部品を間違えるなんて。
Oh no. The package that Ageha ran home to collect ended up having the wrong parts. The manufacturer made a mistake. Thanks to the mishap, Kotori's cockpit was incomplete.
発送のやり直しで早くても明日になるんですよね。ってことは、テストできるのは最速で明後日か。
Kotori, hearing the conversation, nervously played with the yoke.
それが操縦桿で、こっちのがラダー操作ね。
In Kotori's cockpit, there were no pedals. In addition to the yoke, there was an unfamiliar lever. So, how was it?
よくわかんないけど、いい感じ。でも...
Kotori seemed somewhat apologetic.
前の席でよかったの？
Kotori's cockpit took up 2 spaces. Ageha saw me. I should explain. Don't worry about it. This cockpit isn't exclusively for your use. Just because the rudder was hand-operated didn't mean that someone else couldn't use it.
どうせなら前に乗って飛びたいんじゃない？もちろんよ。
Kotori curbed the excitement in her voice. Like a child at Christmas, she gazed at the yoke. The desire to fly soon oozed from her body.
悪いけど、もうちょっとだけ待ってね。
We're short some parts. There's nothing we can do about that yet. So what you're saying is, until the glider's complete, there's no test.
そういうこと。
Kotori was helped out of the cockpit and transferred to her wheelchair, but her excitement didn't cool down.
おー、ちゃんとできてるじゃないか。
Amane came by after Kotori got out of the cockpit. She stuck her head inside. You could at least say hi when you got here. Amane chattered as she checked out the cockpit she designed.
ねえ、あまねちゃん？あまねさん、呼んでますよ。おー。
I tapped on Asa's shoulder. Amane looked up.
なんだ？
Kotori stopped by Amane.
あまねちゃん、ちょっとかがんでみて。
Amane was reluctant and cautious. She looked like she wanted to avoid being slapped on the head.
いいから早く早く。
Is
う
is this what I think it's gonna? Amane leaned down. Kotori reached out both hands.
う
Yeah. And hugged Amane. Aww.
ありがとう、あまねちゃん。私のために設計図書いてくれて。
With the strength of a Yukari tree, Kotori hugged Amane and swung her from side to side.
おお、苦しいぞ、小鳥。大好きだよ、あまねちゃん。
And Kotori did not let go of Amane until she was satisfied transmitting her
みんな
happiness.
もありがとう。あんたたちは最高の仲間よ。
And Kotori, wearing a grandiose expression, was filled with emotion and looked like she'd cry.
次のテストで早速飛んでもらうからね。
And Kotori turned solemn and nodded. Crap, I'm late. Since club activities were over and it'd been a while since I'd been to my family home, I decided to head back there. I called my mom as I went. My job was taking care of the dorm, so it was nice to get out sometimes and show my face and talk with my family sometimes. I have to get home quickly to start getting dinner ready. Ich bin zu Hause! When I got in the entranceway, Asa pointed at me and stated, What is it?
小鳥先輩、小鳥先輩。どうしたの、朝。葵先輩、帰ってきましたよ。
Jeez, just now what was that shit all about? Tilting her head, Kotori made her way down the hallway in her wheelchair. With body-throwing force, Kotori flew by and at the last minute braked with a stop and grabbed my hand.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, this is so adorable. What's wrong? Asa, hearing her name, stepped forward.
小鳥先輩はテストの日が待ち遠しすぎてうずうずが止まらなくなってしまったのです。そんな小鳥先輩の心を満たしてくれるのは葵、もう2時間も前からケナルに帰りを待っていたのです。
So that was it. Sorry I'm late. But why did you tell Asa? Here you go. A present. A 6-pack of Haagen-Dazs. There's some for Asa's group too. I got some from my mutter.
ご飯の前に食べていいの？
Sure, of course. Though you'll probably end up eating it a little late.
ビビだわ。ご飯の前に食べるという背徳感がまたたまらない。ねえヨラちゃん、半分こしようよ。いいわよ、姉さん。
The friends ate Haagen-Dazs together. I didn't see Kaneko and wondered where she disappeared off to. Hey, Kotori, do you have any plans for tomorrow? Tomorrow we can't do any tests. Without reports coming in, we can't do any work, so I guess tomorrow's a day off. As Kotori ate her ice cream, she shook her head. Right, okay. So, do you want to go see a movie?
映画？
Yeah, my mom gave me some tickets. If you wanted, I was thinking we could go together. She got some from a customer. They're just regular tickets. I work hard, so she gave them to me. And Kotori called out Asa's name. Asa stepped forward and started whispering.
小鳥先輩、これってデートのお誘いですよ。デート行くといいと思います。でも、映画か。
You don't like movies? Even though they were talking in whispers, it was possible to hear their conversation.
そんなことないよ。見たい、葵君となら。でも。
Kotori stopped eating her ice cream and began pondering. Even Kotori should be alright. The theater is at Windy, and it's completely handicap friendly, Zaya. Kotori's expression said, "How did you manage to know what I was thinking?"
じゃあ、いいかな。
So it's decided.
よかったですね、小鳥先輩。
Asa said to a laughing Kotori. Well, I have to start getting dinner ready. When you're finished eating, could you give me a hand? And Kotori nodded and ate faster. The next day. In the morgen. Sorry to keep you waiting. I had a few last things I had to take care of before I joined Kotori, who was waiting at the entranceway. What's wrong?
なんか、いつもと違うね、葵君。
With a feigned innocence, I answered, "Oh, really?" As I examined myself. To be honest, I was kinda dressed up. Today, we're going on a real date. We've went walking and shopping together, but we've never really spent time alone together. Just the two of us. So I decided I'd like to dress a little nicer than usual. While Kotori grumbled, assured she looked at her own apparel.
私も着替えてこようかな。
Isn't what you're wearing fine? You look good and it suits you. That and we have to consider movie times. And Kotori, knowing there really wasn't time, nodded.
じゃあ、ハト、行ってくるわね。お留守番頼んだわよ。わー。
When Hat flew off Kotori's knees, I took her wheelchair and pushed it out the door.
すごい人ね。
It's Sunday. It's typically everyone's day off, so the Windy's especially crowded. You could feel the weight of the crowds.
それに、すごいおしゃれ空間ね。
Beyond the design of the buildings, Windy catered toward fashion. All the people coming and going were all dressed up. Since my Anchan brought me here, I've been coming to Windy regularly to see the various shops, excluding the underground shopping center, which sold foodstuffs. When I came with my Bruder, it was rather quiet and calm. That day seems to have been an exception to the norm. This isn't the casual, laid-back feeling of my hometown. Kotori, you grew up in Tokyo, right? So you're used to places like this? I imagine there are many shopping malls like this in Tokyo.
お母さんやお姉ちゃんとなら来たことあるけど、それも昔のことだもん。
I wish they still existed here in America.
でも、すごくデートって感じがする。
Right? There's no doubt about it. It isn't an everyday sort of thing. For us, living in the dorm, always seeing the same faces, this kind of place gives a fresh feeling.
生まれて初めてのデートだもの。特別なのがいい。
Kotori murmured. Is that so? I figured you've at least had the experience of a date. Kotori shook her head.
今日が初めてよ。葵君とが初めて。やっぱり、ちゃんとよそ行きの服にすればよかった。
What's wrong with what you usually have?
気合入ってるって思われるの恥ずかしかったんだもん。でもいいな。これ、一番気に入ってるやつだから。
I told you it suits you. Come on, let's go see the movie. Japan's leading commercial complex, Windy, also had a cinema. There were a variety of themed movies playing right now. The tickets I got were good for any of them. Which one do you want to see?
これ
The movies that Kotori chose was unrepentantly a war movie. She was probably attracted to the propeller on the movie poster. It took place in World War II Europe. It was a love story about an Air Force pilot. The movie wasn't bad, but it didn't matter so much on a date. Kotori was excited at the fight scenes and bubbly at the love scenes. In the end, the movie delivered the warm, fuzzy feelings of a happy ending. Interesting choice.
かっこよかったよね。最後のドッグファイト。恋人を乗せて夜空のデートもすごくロマンチックだった。
Even after the movie was finished, Kotori's enthusiasm didn't lessen. Those types of old-fashioned planes are pretty interesting, aren't they?
ええ。でも、エンジンで飛ぶなんてちょっと邪道ね。
I wouldn't exactly say wicked. That's the way that those planes fly and a glider flies is different, as we say in the movie.
ねえ、どこかにゴーグル売ってないかしら。あれ、絶対に必要だと思うの。
Not at all. Did you plan to use them during the test flight? Kotori nodded. Well, you don't exactly need them, because the glider has a canopy. During flight, the canopy is shut. If it were to open, then control of the glider would be completely lost, and you'd be forced to use a parachute. Well, we need to take care of our stomachs, too. How about lunch?
それ、私が出すね。
What's this all of a sudden?
だって、映画をおごってもらっちゃったから。
But I told you my Mozart gave me those tickets. I had a free ticket, too.
でも。
At least let me treat you to lunch. I don't exactly have a chance to do a lot of boyfriend-like shit. We only just started dating. Up until now, there hadn't been any significant change in our relationship. Before we started dating, we'd always been good friends. The only difference is we've confessed our true feelings toward each other. And we've kissed.
そんなことないの。葵くん、いつでもとっても彼氏らしいよ。優しいし、かっこいいし、十分すぎるくらいだわ。
You think so?
そうよ。この私が言うんだから間違いないわ。
Kotori stated with convincing pride. As usual, in a strange place, Kotori was full of self-confidence. But let me treat you to lunch. I get an allowance for working at the dorm.
わかった。
So, what do you want to eat?
ね。
Kotori opens a floor guide. Keeping in with the chic style of Windy, Kotori chose a restaurant.
ここがいい。
Which one? Seriously? Kotori said yeah as she nodded insistently. Taioken, Old Man Masaki's ramen shop.
私、ラーメンって食べたことないの。
What?
そんなに驚くところ？
Nine, it's ramen could be like national favorite, like beef bowls and curry rice.
うちじゃ外食するとき、ラーメン屋に行こうなんて誰も言わなかったから。
A sign that Kotori's family was somewhat well off. Her father was a gentleman type, whom even over summer vacation would wear suits. Alright, should we go to Taioken then? And so we headed towards Taioken.
美味しかった。ごちそうさま、葵くん。
Kotori said as she pats her stomach in satisfaction. You're welcome. It somewhat ruined the sense of having perfect, but I was still quite pleased. What are these fucking sentences? My god. On top of that, this was probably cheaper. I introduced Kotori to Masaki, who then gave us massive discounts, making the meal practically fry.
豚骨ラーメンってあんなに濃厚なのね。私、また食べたいかも。
We can come anytime. Mr. Masaki will probably give discounts again too. Kotori is my girlfriend. She's cute and we received a warm welcome.
息子に似てお調子者だけど、いいおっちゃんだったわ。
With full and satisfied stomachs, we wandered through Windy. There are quite a lot of different kinds of shops here. Mostly there are women's clothing and accessory shops, but there were also shops that sold tableware, miscellaneous goods, a bookstore, stationery shop, and strangely a dentist office. Usually I had no interest and I wouldn't have had any reason to go to places like this. But today's different. As we passed the women's clothing shops, I looked at the clothes and caught myself thinking, Kotori would probably look great in these. Say, Kotori, those clothes. Kotori? Was? For some reason, Kotori was frowning as she watched another couple. What's with the gloomy face?
別に、なんでもない。
Was she irritated at their clinginess? 9. We were on a date too.
ねえ、葵くん、ちょっとこっち来て。
Oh? Kotori grabbed my hands, and so with one hand I began pushing the wheel of the wheelchair. Hey!
ほら、早く行こ
So you just wanted to walk hand in hand? Generally, couples hold hands or link arms. Some secretly place their hands on each other's lower backs. When I saw these things, it wasn't that I didn't feel any jealousy, but...
う。よいしょ、よいしょ。
While I was holding Kotori's hand, I saw the look of surprise in the surrounding people's eyes. From my perspective, pushing Kotori's wheelchair one-handed was... how can I put it? Rather harsh. Stop! Stop!
何？
You started breathing heavier. Don't push yourself.
無理じゃないもん。いつも学校まで往復してるんだから、このくらいなんでもないよ。
Compared to the average girl, Kotori certainly was quite strong. The windmill hill is gently sloped, but climbing it is exhausting. That said, with a wheelchair it has to be next to impossible. Just seeing you like this, it looks difficult and so nicht gut. I told her and let go of her hand.
だって、後ろにいたんじゃ、葵くんの顔見れないんだもん。せっかくのデートなのに。
It hurt to see Kotori feeling so downhearted. Alright, how about if we stand side by side? Satisfied with the solution, Kotori nodded. I figured it has to be difficult for Kotori pushing herself, but I might be overthinking about it. It's definitely better to see her face. If it becomes too difficult, say something, okay? Don't overdo it.
わかってます。もううるさいな。
And so, side by side, we looked around Windy. It wasn't that there was nowhere I wanted to go. We were in no hurry, we had plenty of time. Those clothes are nice. There was a pale blue dress hanging in a shop window. The color was the color of the sky. I thought Kotori would look good in it. And Kotori was absent-mindedly looking at the same shop. Those clothes there, you like them?
別に、ちょっと見てただけ。
I think you'd look good in them. I compared the dress with Kotori's reflection in the shop window. Yeah, it would without a doubt look good on her.
どうかな？似合うかな？
Even though she was doubtful, she didn't seem to be denying the possibility. I don't think you can try on the clothes.
いいよ。面倒だし、それにお店の人にも迷惑かかっちゃうもん。
I stuck my head into the shop and met the eyes of a female shop attendant. She smiled at me.
何かお探しでしょうか？
V likes this dress, but trying it on and...
いえ、別に何でもないです。ほら、行こう。
Kotori raised her voice as she grabbed her wheelchair wheel and sped out. Hey, Evata! No sooner than I saw the back of the dress did Kotori go flying out the shop. The shop attendant smiled and showed me out.
ドキドキした。
What'd you run off for?
だって、絶対迷惑だって思われる
You should have just said something.
もん。もういいの。服なんてお姉ちゃんに買ってきてもらうから。
You didn't like the dress?
そんなことないけど。でも、もういいの。さあ、行こう行こう。
Crap. Kotori's lost all of her enthusiasm. Our plan was to go see a movie, which we did. I wouldn't be surprised if Kotori started saying she wanted to go home. What do you want to do now? There seems to be an arcade around here. They stopped and looked for something interesting on the floor guide.
ちょっと疲れたかも。どこかで休みたい。
I was relieved that despite her drop in enthusiasm, she didn't say she wanted to go home yet. Okay, let's see. Should we check over there?
あそこって？
Actually, there was a place I wanted to check out again today. The shop you wanted to see before. Kotori tilted her head. The place you said had the delicious looking milfwith. Whatever the fuck that is. Taking the hint, Kotori gasped.
カフェフラックス！
Go to Cafe Flags. This was on Kotori's to-do list. Cafe Flags was a famous pastry shop known for their deliciously sweet creations. When Kotori added it to her list, she didn't realize that it was also a dating hotspot. Cafe Flags happened to be at Windy.
でも、あそこって高いんじゃ。
Don't worry about it. We've got plenty of war funds left. Lunch was pretty inexpensive. Meaning, let's go, Kotori.
おお。
Let's do this! Outside Cafe Flags, a waiting line is formed. Just like we heard, it's a pretty popular store. The people waiting were primarily young couples and older ladies hunched over with shopping bags.
すごい人。
The food's probably that good.
並ぶの？
Of course. From where we stood, the wait was about 30 minutes. Amateur hour. The customers who made reservations walked right inside. When entering the cafe, the hostess called out, "Table seating 1," and guided Kotori along.
こんなお店なんだ。
Kotori muttered when she saw the sleek interior design. I also looked around with curiosity. We opened our menus. Oh, jeez, this place is expensive. The cheapest cakes are around $8. The tea is about the same, with the more expensive teas over $10 a cup. And let's see, their featured millefeuille cake is no less than $13 a slice. Holy shit! How big are the slices? Jesus. There's no doubt about it. At these prices, it better be exceptionally good. 9. I'm not angry. With a tightening chest, Kotori asked, "What do you want?"
じゃあ、ミルフィーユとダージリンティーで。
The millefeuille and an iced tea sounds good. We called the waiter and placed an order. Finally, we can try the famed I'm not gonna try to say it anymore.
楽しみ。
I'm just gonna call it the mill. It seems like she still isn't happy. Surely overthinking about everything sent her mood into a downward spiral. About earlier. Es tut mir leid.
なんで葵くんが謝るの？
I got your thoughts going into a bad place.
違うよ。葵くんは悪くないもん。ただ、
Kotori stopped talking mid-sentence. I didn't say anything, and Kotori opened her mouth and paused. Kotori nervously looked up at me.
私なんかとデートしてて楽しい？
Having a good time? What are you suddenly saying? What are you suddenly trying to say?
私のせいで目立っちゃってるでしょ？
As she spoke, her eyes looked about the realm and caught the glances of other customers.
さっきここに入ってきた時もすごく見られてたし。
Does that sort of thing bother you?
だって私こんなだから一緒にいて葵くんこそ嫌な思いしてるんじゃないかなって。それに服もこんなだし手だって繋いで歩けないし。
Kotori gradually sank into herself. You told me these clothes were cute just to flatter me, right? Like,
そうかな。
look, you like me, right? And Kotori nodded her head in acknowledgement.
お姉ちゃんが選んでくれた服だから。
This was not surprising. Hibari has good taste in knowing what would look good on Kotori. However, the statement was not intended on being a positive thing. The clothes from earlier I thought would look good too. You seem to like them as well.
私みたいな子がおしゃれするのって変だって思われないかな。
I don't think it would be strange at all.
そうかな。
You just said that thanks to you we stand out, right? I don't think that's it at all. It's the wheelchair, right? You're cute, so people are looking.
違うよ。そんなんじゃ。
You can say this in spite of the fact that people are always calling you a beautiful Frau.
それはそうなんだけど。
I can admit to that. Kotori is cute. Like, it wouldn't be strange to call her beautiful at all. That's why people can't help themselves and look. If there are people staring, it's because they see a beautiful girl in a wheelchair and they wonder what her story is. Of course, it makes Kotori feel uncomfortable, but there's really nothing that can be done about that. You're cute, Kotori. So much that people, without thinking, they turn to look at you. If I could date a girl like that, wow. That's the kind of face they have.
葵くん。
They're just jealous. And Kotori let out a small laugh. Yeah, laugh a bit and you're even cuter. After all, it's your natural, cool self.
あ、それ忘れろって言ったのにまだ覚えてた。
That was intense. I won't forget. When you remember this time, you'll laugh. I sat up straight and put on a relaxed, self-confident expression and flicked the hair from my face. I flicked the hair to side. I can't say anything when you're sitting there with that self-confident air.
もう意地悪なんだから。
When Kotori grumbled like that, she unconsciously got cuter. I restrained myself. Instead, I held my hand out across the table. Kotori, picking up on my meaning, softly laid her hand in mine. Things like hand-holding while not walking, we can do. Besides, who can have a date in a glider soaring in the sky? Probably only us, right? Without a doubt, the other couples at Windy would be jealous. Kotori looked up at me.
そうだね。
And Kotori's mood seemed to suddenly brighten. So you won't laugh for me? When your sun shines, it makes you even more beautiful.
ありがとう、葵くん。
The waiter brought the tea and cakes while Kotori smiled brightly. Kotori pulled back her excited hand. The staff who saw it smiled softly. The waiter placed the plates on the table. Ooh, that looks good. While looking at Demilla, Kotori's eyes shone brightly. When you see the pastry... I'm not gonna finish that. That's kind of a gross thought. Kotori heart, but...
だってほら、見てよこれ、このミルフィーユ。
Of course I'm looking at it. I have the same thing in front of me.
神々しいオーラを感じない。絶対美味しいよこれ。見ればわかるもん。
As expected from an international pastry, Kotori muttered as she examined every corner of the cake. Just how many layers did this thing have? The layers of crust were countless, never mind the layers of strawberry and the deep-colored custard. On top, there was a dollop of fresh cream with the strawberry. I think we're all little lads who like strawberries and cream. Over the strawberry, there was a transparent jelly-like sauce that shone brightly like a jewel under the shop's interior lighting. The fact that Kotori stated this, it's absolutely delicious before tasting the pastry, was natural. I knew it! When you're angry or feeling down, sweets is the answer.
そんなことないこともないこともないもん。
Which is it? In any case, you seem to have cheered up. I'm glad. And Kotori nodded brightly. So this should be awkward, I thought. Hey, let's eat! Kotori, with each skip her head, more reverently agreed.
こっくり。
Kotori, with trembling hands, gripped her knife and fork and brought them to the mill. It's crispy. The knife cutting into the crust made a small delightful sound. Kotori took a slice of strawberry and cream with her crusts to her fork and carefully brought it to her lips. Ah, my ears. Fuck. And Kotori brought her hand to her cheek and stated unconsciously. The waiter saw Kotori nodded, smiled, and said, "Our customers often say that."
甘すぎず、酸っぱすぎず、口の中に広がる濃厚で芳醇な深い味わい。これは幸せな味なのです。
The cake was deemed so delicious that even Kotori's way of speaking seemed to change. Let's see. Mann, das ist sehr gut! At first, the light sweetness and the sourness of the strawberry came out as it mixed together with the perfect amount of cream. The taste really rounds out. Then, if using texture as an accent, it tastes crispy. Blending different textures and a different type of sweetness together and to balance with each other creates a refined, harmonious balance of elegance. Without exaggerating, I can say that before eating this cake, one has never truly lived. Things like this cake, other than birthdays and Christmas, they're not something eaten regularly. Of all the cakes that I've had, the one which changes the... What the fuck is that grammar? Oh my god.
幸せ。
While eating the cake, Kotori's heart seemed to exude happiness. This constant success, more than being encouraging, is somewhat irritating. The tactics used to abate Kotori's anger with the Haagen-Dazs and this are entirely different.
紅茶も美味しい。もう昇天しちゃいそう。
While lost in thought, Kotori reached under the wheelchair and rummaged about. What she pulled out was Isuka's navigation log. Do you always carry that thing around with you?
大事なものなんだもん。
The wheelchair was a regular wheelchair, so it was natural that it received rough handling. On rainy days, you have to quickly push yourself with all your strength, then you had to fight with the inertia of the hills. When you were on the beach, you had to deal with sand and grit, then of course occasionally falling over. Thanks to a new frame not coming in, the dent in the wheelchair couldn't be fixed. The journal that was there through it all was a little tattered. Kotori opened the journal like an old pro. She stopped on the page with the to-do list. She took her pen and in the complete box, under the entry, go to Cafe Flags, filled it mit Schwarz.
これでまた一つコンプリートできたわ。
It was more difficult than expected to fill in that box. Kotori gazed at the page in satisfaction, but then her attention turned back towards the pastry. This time I saw. Quickly.
やっぱり今が私の人生のピークなのかも。
Huh? What did you say?
こんな優しくてかっこいい彼氏ができて、頼りになる仲間たちもいて、空を飛びたいっていう夢ももうすぐかな。こういうのをリア充っていうのよね。
What do you mean by that?
リアルが充実している人のことよ。私はきっとリア充ね。
Punctuating her point, Kotori stabbed the giant strawberry with her fork.
このミルフィーユがこんなにも美味しいのは、葵くんがいてくれるからだもん、きっと。
She made sounds of delight as she spoke. As usual, Kotori might have gotten a little carried away. My girlfriend, when feeling down or when feeling great, she's unique. Alright, you can finish it after one thing. And Kotori asked, "What's that?" She looked up at me. I pointed at the item at the top of the list. To cross a passageway of clouds. Isuka's leftover item. Kotori squirmed and ate some mill and gazed down at the item.
この夢もきっともう叶うわ。
Jawohl. A morning glory is supposed to appear by the end of summer. We just have to wait a bit longer.
葵くんがみんなの思いを乗せて連れてってくれるもん。
That's not that limiting. I was chosen as pilot because there was no one else suitable. But when tomorrow comes, that might change. It was a little late, but it seemed like Kotori wanted to say something to me.
だって私これから練習するのよ。
Last year I got to fly something that looked it too. When I think about it now, it was absurd. It was actually dangerous.
葵くんは飛んでみたくないの？モーニンググローリーを。
I want to fly. I really want to. Everything was so close last year. There's so many feelings I can't seem to forget.
じゃあパイロットは葵くんでいいじゃない。何も問題ないわ。
Kotori said calmly and gently as she took another bite of mill.
変なこと言うからドキドキしちゃったじゃない。
As Kotori said this, her face turned red like the strawberry. Dankeschön. You really think it's okay?
いいの。私が出すの。
Kotori insists.
私いつも葵くんにしてもらってばかりだもん。こんなんじゃ全然足りないけど、私も何かしてあげたいの。
Then let us not hesitate to devour this tastier feast. I got the check and Kotori got the treats. Though there was only the pastries and tea between the two of them, the check was a pretty sizable amount. Regardless, the meal was delicious. As I said this, the taste of the meal seemed to flood into Kotori's mouth and cause her eyes to shine brightly.
美味しかった。人気が出るのも当然ね。後でヒバラ姉にも教えてあげなくちゃ。
As she spoke, her words came out wildly. She was completely overjoyed. Now what do you want to do? Shall we get out of Windy and go somewhere a little more quiet, perhaps? While glancing at the floor guide, Kotori answered, sure, but she was evidently deep in thought. If you made the roof out of glass, the sunlight would flood from the sky. While Kotori was concentrating, I looked to peek up at the blue skies. Looking at this beautiful weather makes me wait to go flying. Around those clouds over there, a good thermal seems to be forming. Sometime while I was thinking about forming thermals, I saw that Kotori was watching me. Wie geht's?
いや、なんでもないよ。ただちょっと、かっこいいなって。葵くんは、そうやって空を見上げてるときが、一番かっこいいと思う。
I see. Dankeschön. Tomorrow's test. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
私、頑張るね。
I know you will.
せっかくみんなが、私のためにいろいろしてくれたから。
An enthusiastic Kotori bobbed her head. So, have you picked a place you want to go? Oh yeah, Kotori exclaimed as she looked back at the floor guide.
ここのゲームセンターに行ってみたいんだけど、その前に、
Kotori, with some slight hesitation, muttered.
やっぱりさっきの水色のワンピース、試着してみようかな。
For a moment, Kotori, seemingly embarrassed, looked away as she spoke. I quickly turned Kotori's wheelchair around and pushed. Really? I really think it would look great on you.
いや、落ち着いて、葵くん。急がなくても大丈夫だから。
Come on, let's go, Kotori. Komm schön. Before Kotori could change her mind, I rushed to the store. Los! Los weiter, schnell!
おっかえりデートだったんだって？
When we returned to Flying Fish Manor, we saw... Hey, when did you come back? On club days off, you hang out somewhere else usually.
いいでしょ？ここが落ち着くんだもん。どうでしたか、小鳥先輩。
Asa grew impatient and then drew closer to Kotori.
すんごい楽しかったわ。映画が大当たりでさ、お昼の豚骨ラーメンがまた最高。それ、何？これはね。
Kotori placed a treasured-looking bag on the table. Ageha's eyes saw the brand logo and her expression said, "Oh my."
そのショップ知ってる。服買ってきたんだ。結構高かったでしょ。違う。
Ageha tilted her head with a puzzled expression.
買ってもらったの。
Kotori's face beamed with a smile.
うわ、うぜえ。聞くんじゃなかったわ。見て見て、ほら。ワンピースだ。綺麗な色。葵くんもそう言ってね、買ってくれたの。
For some reason, both Ageha and Yoru looked at me. Right. I have to go scrub the toilets,
お
so...
風呂なら、かなこさんも入ってるわよ。
Alright, I'll go clean the entranceway.
でね、映画の後、カフェフラックスでミルフィーユ食べて。
I left Kotori excitedly retelling our date and zipped out of the dining hall. I must yeet myself! Alright, so... Morgan. Yeah, today started. The new day might have started, but I think I'm gonna leave the episode off here. So, yeah, till next week, it's been your German boy. Auf Wiedersehen.